Okay, so here's my image. I have it set up as a reference image. You can see that. I'm going to work on my outline layer, so that's what's highlighted. Okay, and I know that I'm going to trace it with red and no fill. And I'm going to use my pen tool. So you'll notice that there's two pen tools. There's one on the right called curvature tool, which allows you to sort of draw curves interactively. But I don't like to teach this tool because I think that it gives a false sense of security. So I'm going to teach to the older tool called the pen tool. And you'll notice that if I press my mouse down on this, it'll populate other tools that are associated with the pen tool. So there's pen plus, which means add anchor point, pen minus, which will delete an anchor point, and then this tool at the end, it's really important. It's called the anchor point tool. In older versions of Illustrator, they used to call it the convert anchor point tool, but they shortened the name. They just call it the anchor point tool. Now, I'm also going to use my white arrow. This is called the direct select tool. So I'm going to tear this away as well. So that way you can see that I'm going to work on it. All right, so direct select, and I'm also going to use these pen tools. Okay, you guys ready? So based on my conversation, I'm looking for a change of direction. I'm going to go to my pen tool, and I'm going to plot out the first anchor, which is right here. Whoops, I missed. Right there. There's my first anchor. Now you'll notice that on my session, because you can change this in the preferences, you see sort of an elastic band or a rubber band effect on the pen tool. I clicked once and I let go. I'm not holding down the mouse. I'm just hovering the mouse to a new location, and I'm looking for the extrema. I'm going to place my cursor right there for the outer edge of this mound, and I'm going to click again. Now I'm going to hover to the third click, change the direction at the bottom. Fourth click, extrema. And then fourth click, extrema. And then check this out. I'm going to zoom in so you can see this. Right? I'm going to click the fifth time. Oh, I got the circle on the wrong spot in my drawing. It's on the bottom right, not the bottom left. But see how the icon changes from the pen to a pen with a little circle? That's the little visual indicator that's going to say, hey, we're going to close this shape off. We're going to close it off. So I'm going to click there, and that's going to close off my shape. So as you can see here, it doesn't look like a heart. It looks more like an arrowhead. That's how I describe it, as an arrowhead. Right? So let's see what it looks like on its own. So this is where layers is really important. So I can turn off my blueprint and only see my path. Or I could see my path without, see my path without the blueprint, or see the blueprint without the path. And I can toggle it on and off. Okay, so we said that we're going to add smooth to the anchors, right? Is everybody with me, by the way? You guys want me to do this again? Anybody want me to do this again? Yeah, one more person wants me. Okay, let's do it again. All right, so look, I'm on the pen tool. Okay. Change a direction right here. Hover to the next spot. So I'm not holding my mouse down. I'm just moving the mouse. I don't have my finger on it. Just moving the mouse. Extrema. Change of direction. Extrema. And then change of direction, and I'm going to close it. See the little icon? The little circle? That means closed. All right, so the shape is closed off. Now, if I look in my layer panel, you're going to see that it says path. And it shows the single shape right there. You guys ready for the next step? Yeah? Okay, let's do the next step. So I'm going to go to the white arrow. The white arrow. This is called the direct select tool. I'm clicking on the white arrow. Now, what the direct select tool allows me to do is click a smaller part of a greater object. So in this case, the greater object is the closed path. The smaller part are the individual anchors. So I'm going to click on this anchor out here. See how I clicked on that anchor? Now you'll notice that this anchor is selected and the other one is not selected. Do you see the difference between a selected anchor and a not selected anchor? What's the difference? So it's called the, oh my gosh, what is it called? Forgot what it's called. The little bullseye appeared. That's not the correct term for it. But the little bullseye appeared. But there's another visual indicator. Do you guys see the other visual indicator? This is called a corner widget. Oh, that's what it's called, a corner widget. Look at this anchor. Look at this one. So how do you know that is this one selected? You'll notice it doesn't have a fill. It's white. So if an anchor appears white, it's not selected. If an anchor is solid, that means it's selected. Okay, so let me zoom in again and do this one more time. Direct select tool, the white anchor. Excuse me, the white arrow. Direct select tool, the white arrow. I'm going to zoom in, click on this anchor. That anchor is active. Now, once I activate an anchor, look at the control bar. What does the control bar say? What does it say right here? Anchor point. So the software knows that when I select an anchor, that I'm working with anchor point features. All right, now look what it says here. What does it say right there? Convert means change. Change it, okay? So let's look at the first one. The first one says convert selected anchor points to a corner. Well, it already is a corner. It's not going to do anything. All right, so let's go to the next one. What does it say there? Convert anchor point to smooth. Ah, that's the one that I want. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this anchor. It's selected. And I'm going to click on this smooth button. And look what it does. It drew the handles that I mentioned earlier. There's the handles. Okay, now I'm going to go to the opposite anchor out here. And I'm going to click smooth, and that will activate the handles. Everybody able to do that? I'm going to walk around, make sure. All right, if you drew handles, see if you can grab one handle and move that handle around to try to change the curvature. You can use the white arrow. Click on that handle. This is the anchor. You got it. Yep. Click smooth. Click smooth. Convert to smooth. Yep. There you go. Click on this anchor. You might have drawn doing this. Just draw it all over again, okay? The pen tool, this is the pen tool we're using, not this one. This one. Okay, you're going to click once. You're not going to hold the mouse down. You're not pressing down. You're going to hover to the next spot and then click again. Yep, to the bottom. Yep. Extra. Yep. And then close it off. Boom, perfect. Look at the white arrow. Well, that's fine. That's fine. Go to the white arrow. That's the direct select tool, the white arrow. This one, that white arrow. Click on this anchor. Now click smooth.
Got it. Okay.
Click on this anchor. Click smooth. Okay, good. Doing okay?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So, check this out. When I click, I'm going to click off of the shape. Do I have any anchor selected right now? No. Do I have any shape selected right now? No. Do I see any handles? No. So when you're off the shape, it doesn't show the anchors selected nor the handles. Okay, so I want to see the handles again. How do I do that? Well, if you go back to the white arrow, and you click on a segment, So here's a segment right here. It says path. When I click on a segment, it turns on the handle that sandwiches it. So this is a segment. Here's the handle on the top. Did I draw a handle at the bottom? No, that's why I don't see one there. but you'll see that it turned on the handle on the top. Let's go to this side. I'm going to click on this segment. Oh, there's the handle. Okay, now I'm going to go to this handle and I want to manipulate it. You'll notice that once I click on the handle on the opposite side appeared. And now I can move and manipulate this to look closer like my shape. So look, I'm going to pull on this handle and eventually I'm going to try to get it to look like my heart shape. Now, zoom in here. I'm going to make my stroke thicker so you guys can see this better. All right, so let's do that again. I'm going to click with the direct select tool. I'm clicking on this segment. It populates this handle. Now you'll notice that when I move this handle, doesn't the opposite side move with it? See how they're stuck together? So if I move this handle down, this one goes up. If I move this one in, the other one goes out. What if I want to break them apart? I don't want them working together. I want them to work separately. So to do that, I use this tool right here called the anchor point tool. So when you go to the anchor point tool and I click on this handle, you'll notice it breaks it apart. Once you break them, they're not going to work collectively anymore. They're going to stay broken or independent of one another. Okay, so let's do this again. I'm going to click on this segment. I see the handle on this side. Click on this segment. I see the handle on this side. Click on this segment. I see the handle on this side. Oh, look, this one's still working together. So I'm going to break them apart. Click on this segment. And I can manipulate this. So if I'm not satisfied with the accuracy, I can click on the bottom point and make that one smooth as well and continue to refine this. So I can put handles on all 4 sides. Let me break this one apart. I can put handles here too. Smooth. So what I'd like you to do for the next few minutes, I would like you to try to trace the heart as best as possible. Now, you'll notice that mine, this is the first time I've done this, so it doesn't look very good right now, but I'm going to try again a little bit. But, you know, what I want you to do is experiment with grabbing the handles and manipulating their shape. All right, so grab the handles and try to manipulate their shape. Okay? Try to do the best that you can. All right. Okay, so let me show you a couple of things that you should be aware of. So when I click, let me turn off the blueprint so you can see my beautiful heart that I drew here. When I click on the segment, let me change my color for my edges so you can see it a little bit better. So when I click on this segment, see how it populates the handle on this side? If I want to see both of them, I have to click right on the anchor. Okay, so now I can see both handles. See that? The green one, green one. What if I want to start over again? I don't like the way that I did that. I want to start all over again. Well, you'll notice that if I click on this tool, my anchor point tool, it's part of the pen tool, it's the last one. Click on this, and I click on an end, it erases it and starts it all over again. It resets it. Let me hit undo. Or if I click on the anchor, it resets both sides. So that allows me to start all over again. So if I wanted to start over again, then I would just go ahead and hit smooth on it and draw the handles out. One of your cohorts said, Marco, what if I want to do a really small move on the anchor? What if I want to move it just a little tiny bit? Well, you can click on it with the white arrow, the direct select tool, and move it around. So you're not going to break it. You can just move it around. Whoops, I just broke it. So you can move it around. Or you could use your arrow keys. And if you use your arrow keys, you can also move the anchor around. This is what I'm doing by moving the arrow keys. So you'll notice that if I move the anchor, the segment and then the path basically follows the manipulation that I just made. Does that make sense? So I want to do this one more time, but I'm going to do this a little bit differently, and then we'll take a break. I'm going to do this a little bit differently. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plot out my anchors. I have a rough draft. And in this case, I am going to start with smooth. But you'll notice that after I add smooth, see how the cursor, when I hover over this segment, it shows this little curved line? Okay, so this allows me to use the curve function along this path. So you'll notice this is automatically pulling a handle off of this side. All right, I can click here on the side, pull a handle here. Now, it doesn't completely solve the illustration for me, but it might be easier. See, oh, I can't do that. I have to add smooth first. Add smooth, and then once I do that, I can use this Now, another thing that I might do is to create this more complex curve, I might want to add an anchor. So if I add an anchor there, maybe that will help me a little bit. So let's see how that goes. Let me add an anchor on this side. Add an anchor. Maybe right there. And I'm going to go back to my white arrow, the direct select tool. And I can manipulate these curves. So I'm doing a little bit of a better job just grabbing the edge of the line or the edge of the path and just dragging it to fit or match that mound. And this is actually going to give me a little bit more smoother lines, slightly smoother lines. So that's worth investigating. Okay, so you can also just click, once you activate smooth, you can click directly on the line and manipulate these curves along the path.